Hello, I'm Ellen Brown. I live in Roanoke. I'm an independent historian, which is not a very lucrative field, but we're enjoying it nonetheless. Just to give you a little idea of my background, I started out loving music, singing in church choirs, and so I became a voice major at Sweetbriar and went over to Austria and studied with Professor Kolo. I think we did about 4 notes together. Never did progress to a whole octave. But I had trouble with asthma, so I gave that up. And then I decided, well, I'm learning some German, so I went and got a master's in teaching German, and then there's not a whole lot of jobs for teaching German, not in a 50-mile radius of the town we lived in. And, then a few other things, children, one thing or another, divorce. I ended up deciding to get back into academia and try to Master of Arts in Teaching program. Master of Liberal Arts, gotta get it straight, down in UNC Asheville. And it was wonderful because it gave me a chance to claim creativity, and say, just writing about me and stories that are meaningful to me and finding my voice was really important. And so that was wonderful. Wasn't sure where it was leading. And yet every paper turned out to be a history paper. And it began to occur to me, wouldn't it be cool to go to a school that's dedicated to teaching you about history? So that got me to Virginia Tech. So now I have 3 master's degrees, and it's sort of like Garrison Keillor and those English majors, but they didn't work at 7-Eleven or something. But this is one of the, a little excerpt from a paper that I wrote about my mother at UNC Asheville. When she was in her 60s, my mother started having severe problems with osteoporosis, experiencing fractures that left her housebound and isolated. We began to realize that she needed to move to a place where she could get care. So we started looking at several facilities in town. She was having a hard time making up her mind. She didn't want us to tell her what to do, but she wanted us to tell her what to do. Our church had a parish nurse program, and that nurse visited Mother one day and gave her a prescription to move to Sharon Towers, and that did it. So it was a good decision, and it meant giving away about half of her furniture and possessions. A very tough thing for someone from one of Virginia's oldest families. After settling in at Sharon Towers, Mother made new friends and participated in all the classes and activities. She even discovered a talent for watercolor, and it's too bad she didn't discover it sooner. Her health continued to decline, however, and in 1997 she had a problem which required major surgery. When I went to be with her in the hospital, I realized that she wanted to give up. She went back to Sharon Towers, though, and lived on the assisted living floor, in a room that's about half as big as her old room. Again, she had to part with more furniture and most of the objects that gave her a sense of connection to her past and her family. Just before Thanksgiving, Kate and David and I went by for a visit. David, 15, spent a few minutes in rather awkward conversation with her. You can imagine. The activities person came in with some Thanksgiving goodies, little cookies shaped like turkeys, and some cups of apple cider. She coaxed Mother to tell us what time of year it was and what special holiday. Mother guessed poorly at first. She was having trouble with more than Alzheimer's, more than the osteoporosis. So she was guessing, trying. She was nervous, and she said, it's July. And then something finally registered with her, and she proudly performed for us, saying, "Yes, I know, gobble, gobble, gobble." And David was just totally unprepared for this, but he soon noticed that we were all laughing, and then we realized that Mother had provided us with a good icebreaker and an excuse for laughter. And both kids relaxed considerably after that. Mother never did lose her gift for hospitality. The hospitality story I'll always remember, though, took place in December, a few days before my cousin Kitty's wedding. Kitty was already a grandmother herself, so this was her second marriage. But Mother had really wanted to be able to go to the wedding. She'd been planning it. It was a tremendous delight for her then when Kitty and David, the groom, showed up in her room 2 days before the wedding. Kitty told her all about the church and the dresses and the flower girl and the guests coming all the way from England and everything that Aunt Catherine wanted to hear. When a nurse came in to meet the illustrious visitors, Mother proudly announced to the bride and groom, introduced the bride and groom. And then, as if she were entertaining at the Ritz, she said, "Bring us all champagne." Oh, I love it. During another visit, Mother took the opportunity to tell me how much she admired me. I had always longed for this sort of affirmation from her. Then she asked, what do you believe? Do you believe in heaven? And I was so glad I knew how to respond. I asked her, what have you always heard? Haven't you always heard that you would be with your loved ones? That you will be happy? Don't you believe that your mother and your aunts, Minnie and Mary, will be there? Mother seemed happy to hear these words from me. It's a good thing. A few weeks later, one Saturday morning, we got the news that she was gone. A nurse from the Friday night shift left a special message for us with one of the weekend nurses. Apparently, when the evening nurse went in to check on her about 10 p.m., Mother told her that she could see her aunts beckoning to her. It seems that she had no fear about her reunion up ahead. So as for the painful process of downsizing, I learned some wonderful lessons about letting go and about the blessings of laughter and hospitality, traits that stayed with Mother right to the end.